Good evening, Facebook Live. My name is Jabari Long with episode 10 of the Long Report. Today I want to talk about foreclosure. So what is foreclosure? Foreclosure is the action of taking possession of a mortgage property when the mortgagor fails to make the mortgage payment. Now, I'm in Michigan. In Michigan, typically it take anywhere from 3 to 6 months for a bank to send the home into foreclosure. And typically you're going to have a 6-month redemption process to redeem that home. So what does that mean? If a person is getting behind in their mortgage payments, they have anywhere from 9 to probably, I've seen it 2 or 3 years actually, depending on the market, before the bank actually takes the property to foreclosure and moves to the eviction process. So foreclosure, it's something that no one wants to go through foreclosure, right? And it can be embarrassing. So what do people do when things are embarrassing? They don't tell people. They deal with these issues and don't let anyone know they're existing. But there are very few problems that go away through neglect. Foreclosure is something that can be dealt with. It's affected a lot of Americans. And there are several ways to actually maintain ownership and occupancy of their home to save your credit, to avoid filing bankruptcy. You may even have an opportunity to lower your monthly payment and increase your equity position in that property. But none of that will happen if you don't seek help, you don't seek the advice of professionals. The mortgage companies do not want your home, despite what some people think. No matter how nice your home is, I assure you that the mortgage company only wants one thing, and that's money, right? And they're willing to work with anybody who's willing to work with them. Now, I always tell people, if you go and try to approach the mortgage company by yourself, they're probably going to say a lot of things to you that you don't understand. This is something that you can do, working out a loan modification or a short sale with the mortgage company. You can do that for yourself. However, defendant can go in the courtroom and try to defend himself or herself and may or may not be as successful. So I always say, make sure that you deal with professionals, make sure a professional is representing you so that you get the best, you increase your chances of coming out with your desired outcome. Foreclosure is something that the banks are used to. They have departments set up to deal with foreclosure and loss mitigation, short sales, loan modification, all that. So this is something that they're used to dealing with. Now, I always tell people, the way the mortgage companies are set up in the banks, they have an understanding or agreement with the Federal Reserve Board. And that understanding or agreement is referred to as the fractional reserve lending. So I'm not going to get into it here, but basically what that says is that on average, the bank, whatever money they loaned you, they made their money back anywhere from 2.5 to 3 years. So if you fallen behind in your mortgage and you've been in that property for longer than 3 years, the likelihood that that bank will work with you rather aggressively is high. One of the key components of that is maintaining occupancy of the home. You have much more leverage when you continue to occupy the home and work with the bank, as opposed to if you decide to abandon it, to move out in the middle of the night, get your U-Haul truck and don't tell anybody. At that point, you've lost a lot of leverage and negotiating power in working with the bank to modify your loan terms or your mortgage. So keep that in mind. That's why the banks are so workable and open to solutions to keep you in the house, because they don't want the house. They got a lot of real estate that they have to be responsible for, maintenance, utility bills, lawn and snow removal. They want you to have those responsibilities. They don't want them. What they want is routine mortgage payments. So keep that in mind. If you know anybody who's going through foreclosure, make sure they get some help. It's not something that people are gonna want to tell a whole lot of people about, but if you get to the right person, the right group of people, I assure you that stressful situation can turn out to work in your favor. I've known people that actually had the mortgages discharged. They were able to buy the property back from outside investors for half, sometimes a quarter of what they owed on the mortgage balance. There are a lot of creative things that can happen with mortgages when you're dealing with people that know what they're doing. So if you've had, or you or someone you know have had a hardship that caused mortgages to go delinquent, definitely tell them to seek out professionals so they can get help. I want to leave out on this note that as long as the mortgage payments are being made on time, there's likely no assistance that can be given to a person who wants to right size their situation. Once a mortgage is delinquent, then a whole lot of other options become available to the borrower in that situation. I'm going to say that once again. If you are the mortgage is current, there's not much that can be done or modifications that can be done to that mortgage because it's doing exactly what the lender wants it to do, is to perform. Once that mortgage starts non-performing or not performing, then it opens up a whole slew of options and opportunity for solutions or workarounds, if you will, with that mortgage and that property. So once again, this is Jabari Long with episode 10 of the Long Report. We're talking about foreclosure. It's definitely not the end of the world. Make sure you get with professional people that know how to deal with these situations. Have a great evening.